Welcome back to our channel where rare coins, hidden treasures, and unexpected finds turn everyday pocket change into potential gold mines, and today we are about to dive deep into the fascinating and lucrative world of the 1982 quarter-dollar coin, a coin that might look like any ordinary 25-cent piece to the untrained eye, but for collectors, numismatists, and treasure hunters, this coin has the potential to be worth up to $139 or even more thanks to a wide range of minting errors, design mistakes, and overlooked quirks that elevate its status from spare change to sought-after collector's item. And if you've ever held a 1982 quarter in your hand or found one in your old change jar, this video might just be the reason you take a second look, because the story behind this seemingly common coin is packed with numismatic history, production anomalies, and the ever-evolving dynamics of the coin collecting market that continue to push its value higher as the years go by. Now, let's explore exactly why the 1982 quarter dollar is being picked up at auctions and private sales for well over $100 when it was originally minted as a simple everyday quarter. And to understand the full picture, we must go back to the U.S. Mint's production process in 1982, which was a transitional year for coinage due to economic pressures and changing technologies. The Philadelphia Mint, designated by the P Mint mark on the obverse of the coin, was working at full capacity, trying to meet demand. And in the rush to churn out millions of coins, certain quality control steps were either skipped or inadequately executed, leading to a surge in coins leaving the mint floor with minor to major mistakes that today form the cornerstone of their collectible status. One of the most talked about errors in the 1982 quarter is the missing clad layer error, which occurs when the outer nickel-copper layer of the coin is not applied properly to the copper core, resulting in a coin that has a distinctly reddish or bronze tone that immediately stands out from the silvery quarters most people are familiar with. These coins are highly sought after due to their visual distinctiveness and the technical rarity of such a minting mistake, as missing clad layer errors were never intentional and typically escaped detection only during times of high-speed mass production. And while missing clad layers can occur in any coin, the 1982 quarter has become one of the most frequently found coins with this error due to the hectic minting conditions of that year. But that's just the beginning, because other collectors have reported double dies on both the obverse and reverse of the coin, where the images and lettering appear slightly duplicated due to a misalignment during the striking process. These double die quarters show up with notable doubling in the word liberty or in God we trust on the front, or in the eagle's wings and tail feathers on the reverse. And while some examples show only minor doubling detectable under magnification, others have strong and clear doubling visible to the naked eye, which increases their value dramatically, especially when certified by reputable grading services like PCGS or NGC, which can verify and document the error. Another intriguing error seen in the 1982 quarter is the off-center strike, where the design is not properly centered on the planchet, resulting in part of the design being cut off or unevenly distributed. And collectors prize these coins particularly when the date and mint mark remain fully visible, as this ensures the coin can still be attributed accurately while also showcasing the glaring mistake that makes it rare. Then there are die cracks and cuds, two types of mint errors that are born from overused or damaged dies. Die cracks appear as raised lines on the coin's surface, often extending from the rim into the design, and can create a spiderweb-like appearance that collectors find fascinating due to the uniqueness of each crack's pattern. Cuds, on the other hand, occur when a piece of the die breaks off and leaves a blob-like raised area on the coin where part of the design is missing. Both of these errors reflect the deterioration of minting equipment and the rush to produce more coins with insufficient maintenance, which was particularly common in 1982. And beyond these mechanical errors, there are also planchet-related issues such as improper alloy mixes, which result in discoloration or streaking on the coin's surface, giving some 1982 quarters a blotchy or uneven appearance that, while unattractive to some, makes them highly collectible to error coin enthusiasts. And the possibilities of finding a unique variation don't stop there, as some quarters from this year have been found with rotated dies, meaning the reverse design is misaligned when you flip the coin vertically, and the amount of rotation can vary from just a few degrees to dramatic misalignments that are easily noticeable, which again elevates the coin's desirability and value. Even more interestingly, the 1982 quarter has garnered attention due to its placement in a broader numismatic context. 1982 was a year with no official mint sets released by the U.S. Mint, which means that high-quality, uncirculated examples of this coin are inherently more difficult to find than coins from other years that were preserved in mint-issued sets. This scarcity in pristine condition further boosts the value of any 1982 quarters that are found in excellent shape, particularly those graded MS65 or higher, as they stand out in a field where most examples show signs of heavy wear from circulation. and when you combine scarcity and condition with the presence of striking errors, you get a coin that is not only historically significant but also economically valuable in the current collector's market, and it's worth noting that the overall interest in error coins has surged in recent years thanks to social media, online coin forums, YouTube channels like this one, and auction platforms like eBay and heritage auctions where rare finds can attract thousands of views and intense bidding wars. This increased awareness has turned the 1982 p quarter into a sort of legend among hobbyists who know that valuable coins aren't just confined to the 1800s or early 1900s. And now more than ever, collectors are scouring through jars of change, old drawers, inherited collections, and flea market coin bins hoping to score that elusive error-ridden quarter that could turn into a $100 bill or more. And as the market for error coins continues to grow, driven by both scarcity and collector demand, it's not unreasonable to believe that the value of coins like the 1982 p quarter will continue to rise, especially for examples with verified errors and high grades. And if you're wondering how to identify one of these valuable coins, the best place to start is with a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe and a keen eye for irregularities. Check for any discoloration that might indicate a missing clad layer. Look closely at the lettering and design for signs of doubling or doubling in the eyes, wings, or letters. Examine the rim and design edges for off-center strikes, and rotate the coin to see if the reverse is aligned properly. Even coins with minor signs of die cracks or planchet issues can be worth far more than face value, and in many cases, submitting your coin to a grading service can provide the authentication needed to sell it for top dollar. Many coin shops and online buyers won't consider purchasing high-value coins unless they're certified, which protects both buyer and seller and increases the coin's trustworthiness. And for those who are lucky enough to find a rare variation, stories abound of people who discovered 1982 p quarters with major errors that sold for hundreds of dollars or more at auction, and because the coin was struck in such large numbers with a mix of quality standards, the range of errors possible is almost endless, meaning that even today, new varieties and unique mistakes are still being discovered. And one of the best things about this coin story is that it reminds us that incredible value can hide in the most ordinary of places, between couch cushions, inside car ashtrays, or among the dusty contents of an old piggy bank. So the next time you come across a 1982 quarter, don't dismiss it as just spare change, but give it a thorough inspection, because you never know whether you're holding a coin that's not only a piece of American history but also a small fortune in disguise. And we encourage all our viewers to share their own coin discoveries and stories in the comments below, because your story could inspire someone else to start their own journey into coin collecting or help them realize the treasure sitting right under their noses. And remember, the more you learn about these fascinating coins, the better your chances of spotting value where others only see metal. So stay curious, keep hunting. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of valuable 1982 p quarters, then don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more coin treasure revelations, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update on the next big find that could be hiding in plain sight right in your pocket. Next. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most intriguing, overlooked, and surprisingly valuable coins in American coinage history, the 1994 p quarter dollar. A coin you might think is just pocket change, but which in certain cases has been fetching as much as $83 and beyond in collectors' circles because of its fascinating errors, subtle mistakes, and highly collectible flaws that have turned it into a valuable piece for serious numismatists and curious collectors alike. So sit tight as we explore every detail, historical context, minting anomaly, and financial possibility behind this surprisingly special coin, minted in Philadelphia with a simple P mint mark, yet riddled with nuances that make it a key player in the world of modern collectible currency. Because when a coin intended for everyday commerce, designed to be worth a mere 25 cents, ends up gaining a value over 300 times its face value, there has to be more to the story. And indeed, there is, because the 1994 p. Washington quarter is not just a random coin from the 1990s but a specimen that encapsulates an era of transition at the U.S. Mint, a time when quality control was both tightening and being tested, and machines, dies, and human oversight were intersecting in ways that sometimes produced amazing results in the form of mint errors and anomalies that we'll be detailing in this very video. Starting with the most well-known and prized of all issues, the off-center strikes, a phenomenon that occurs when the coin blank, or planchet, is improperly positioned in the coining press, causing the final strike to be misaligned and leaving a portion of the coin blank or with design elements off-kilter. And in 1994, numerous quarters from the Philadelphia Mint were affected by this very error. with the extent of off-centering varying from slight misalignments that only a trained eye can detect to dramatic displacements where nearly half the design is missing on one side, a clear and unmistakable deviation from standard minting protocol which instantly boosts the coin's rarity and therefore its value, especially among collectors who hunt for these sorts of dramatic flaws. But that's not all. The 1994 P-quarter has also been reported to exhibit double dies, where the coin shows doubled images on one or more elements of the design, often most visible in the words "Liberty, in God We Trust," or the date, 1994, itself, and while doubling can sometimes be caused by machine doubling which is less valuable, in cases where it's a true doubled die, a result of a misalignment between the hub and die during production, it's considered a genuine mint error and adds tremendous value depending on the sharpness, clarity, and extent of the doubling, and 1994 quarters with strong doubled dies can easily exceed the $83 mark in auctions or private sales among collectors in the know, making them not only fun to find but also financially rewarding. And if you think that's impressive, just wait until we uncover the wide array of die cracks, cuds, and clash marks reported on 1994 P-quarters, subtle imperfections that occur when minting equipment begins to deteriorate or suffers damage, causing defects on the coin's surface like raised lines, from die cracks, blobs of extra metal, from cuds, or ghostly impressions of parts of the reverse on the obverse or vice versa, from die clashes. Each of these issues is different in visibility and severity, but serious collectors often hunt for the most dramatic and unusual examples, creating an underground market where common-looking quarters can suddenly become centerpieces in a collection depending on how unusual their error is. And we can't forget about the infamous wrong planchet errors, when a quarter is accidentally struck on a coin blank intended for a different denomination, such as a nickel or a foreign coin blank, resulting in undersized or oddly colored quarters that might escape detection unless weighed or measured carefully. And such errors are not just anomalies, they're minting miracles for collectors, often selling for hundreds or even thousands depending on the specifics of the planchet and the clarity of the strike. And while the 1994 P-quarter isn't known for an abundance of such errors, even a handful surfacing in the collector world are enough to set the rumor mills churning and eyes searching. Not to mention other less common but still valuable issues like clipped planchets, where a piece of the coin blank is missing due to an improperly fed metal strip, or rotated dies, where the front and back images of the coin don't line up correctly when flipped. And in the case of the 1994 P-quarter, rotated die errors have been reported in the range of 15 to 90 degrees, with more extreme rotations commanding higher premiums, especially if both sides of the coin are otherwise well struck and free of post-mint damage, because condition matters too, even when dealing with error coins. The grade or preservation level of the coin dramatically influences its value, with uncirculated, mint state specimens often valued significantly higher than those that show heavy wear, scratches, or other damage, and that's why coins graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC often sell for more than raw coins. Since a certified MS-64 or MS-65 1994 P-quarter with a rare error can draw intense bidding activity from both online and in-person auctions, not only because of the error itself but because of the security and authenticity offered by third-party grading. And when we zoom out and consider the mintage figure, over 825 million coins produced, it seems paradoxical that a coin so common can be worth so much, but in truth, that very abundance makes error coins stand out even more, because in a sea of uniformity, deviation becomes a treasure, and the thrill of the hunt for that one flawed coin among millions is what fuels so many collectors' passions and investments. And beyond the strictly numismatic appeal, there's also historical and cultural intrigue in studying how and why these errors happened, what they reveal about the minting process at the time, and how changing technologies, workforce practices, and metal sourcing all played a role in shaping the coinage of the mid-1990s, including the 1994 P-quarter, which despite its initially unassuming appearance, turns out to be a surprisingly complex and multifaceted collectible, especially when placed under a magnifying glass or examined under UV light to detect subtle doubling, unusual edge reads, or other clues that suggest an error coin. And even among common-looking 1994 P-quarters, certain varieties and die states are being cataloged and documented as we speak by hobbyists and experts who pore over boxes of coins in search of the next big find. So if you think the value is limited to a fixed $83 price tag, think again, because prices fluctuate with demand, condition, rarity, and news coverage, meaning a coin that fetched $83 yesterday might fetch $150 tomorrow if a well-known dealer spotlights it or a major coin show features it in an exhibit. And even if you don't own a 1994 P-quarter with a glaring error, it pays to check your change, literally, because you never know when one of these flawed but valuable coins might show up in your wallet, your drawer, or your inherited coin jar, just waiting to be discovered and appraised. And as always, we recommend educating yourself about genuine versus artificial errors, because not all strange-looking coins are the result of mint mistakes. Some are post-mint damage, which collectors typically avoid, so it's important to study known varieties, get second opinions, and when in doubt, submit your coin for grading and authentication to ensure that its value is real and marketable. Because in a hobby where subtle details can mean the difference between a 25-cent coin and an $83 collectible, knowledge truly is power, and the more you understand the intricacies of the 1994 P quarter, the better positioned you'll be to find, appreciate, or sell one at its maximum value. And if you enjoyed diving into this detailed analysis of a surprisingly valuable modern coin, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into valuable and rare coinage, and share this with fellow collectors or curious minds who might be overlooking the treasure sitting right in their pockets. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep searching, keep learning, and keep collecting. Today we're diving into a jaw-dropping revelation that will fascinate collectors, historians, and treasure hunters alike as we uncover the incredible world of the 1986 P quarter-dollar coin, a piece of everyday pocket change that under the right circumstances can command a price tag of $103 or even more due to a series of rare errors, minting mistakes, and anomalies that have elevated its status in the numismatic community. And in this comprehensive exploration, we'll dissect every known and rumored factor that contributes to its unexpected and increasingly talked about value, because what might look like a simple 25-cent coin could very well be a small fortune hiding in plain sight. So let's peel back the layers of this enigmatic piece of American currency and reveal the secrets behind its meteoric rise in worth, starting with the historical context of the 1986 P quarter, minted at the Philadelphia Mint, one of the most prolific mints in U.S. history, and known for producing billions of coins annually. But as with high-volume production comes a higher possibility for striking errors, and 1986 was no exception, producing a wide range of error coins that have become highly sought after by collectors and investors alike, especially the 1986 P quarter, which carries the P mint mark that signifies it was struck in Philadelphia. And while millions were made, only a tiny percentage contained the kinds of minting mistakes that drastically increase their market value. So, let's begin with one of the most dramatic error types, the off-center strike, where the coin is not properly aligned with the dies during the minting process and results in part of the design being cut off, sometimes showing as much as 5% to 90% of the design missing. And the greater the percentage of the off-center strike while still maintaining a full date and mint mark, the more valuable the coin becomes, with some specimens fetching over $100 depending on severity and condition. And then there's the double die obverse error, where a misalignment during the hubbing process causes the image to be struck twice at slightly different angles or positions, leading to doubling in the letters of liberty, the phrase, "In God We Trust," or the date, 1986, and these doubling errors are among the most coveted in the coin collecting world, particularly when visible without magnification, and such coins have been auctioned for significantly more than their face value, sometimes climbing into three figures or beyond if in uncirculated or mint state grades. And speaking of grades, the condition of the coin plays an enormous role in its value, where coins graded MS65 or higher by reputable grading services like PCGS or NGC are worth far more than their circulated counterparts, especially when combined with an error or variety. And that's where things get even more interesting, because among collectors there are rumors and confirmed sightings of 1986 P quarters struck on wrong planchets, such as being struck on a dime blank, which results in a quarter design on a smaller-sized coin, or being struck on foreign coin planchets or other denomination blanks, making them spectacular mint anomalies. And these off-metal error coins are rare by nature, often fetching hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on type and clarity of error. And let's not overlook die cracks and die chips, where stress or wear on the die causes breaks or missing chunks that then transfer onto the struck coin, resulting in raised lines or blobs of metal in unusual places on the coin's surface, such as between the eagle's wings on the reverse or across Washington's face on the obverse. And collectors affectionately refer to some of these as cuds or spiked heads, which may appear minor but can elevate the value of an otherwise average quarter significantly, particularly when they are large or dramatic. And in 1986 several such die breaks have been catalogued and tracked in the collector community, with many enthusiasts actively hunting for new examples, hoping to find a variation previously undocumented. And if you think that's the end of it, Think again, because another exciting area of interest is the misaligned die strike, where the obverse and reverse dies are not perfectly aligned during striking, causing one side of the coin to appear normal while the other is slightly off-center, creating a lopsided look that is clearly visible and prized for its uniqueness. Especially when the rim is visibly thicker on one side and thinner on the other, and we cannot forget about the broad strike error either, which occurs when the retaining collar that normally shapes the coin fails to engage properly, allowing the coin to spread out wider than normal during striking and giving it a distorted, flattened appearance, sometimes even creating a coin with no visible rim at all. And these coins, although still bearing the correct design, look unusual and collectible for their shape alone, and when combined with other minor errors, their value can increase substantially. And one of the more rare errors that occasionally surfaces is the clip planchet error, where the blank used to strike the coin was improperly punched from the metal strip, resulting in a coin that has a crescent-shaped piece missing. And while small clips might not raise value drastically, dramatic or multiple clips can push the value well above the average collector's expectations. Especially when the date and mint mark are still clearly visible, allowing for authentication and precise classification. And these errors aren't just random, they are physical evidence of the coin production process, where heavy machinery, high-speed operations, and human oversight all intersect to occasionally yield something anomalous and extraordinary. And numismatists, those who study and collect coins, are especially fascinated by how these anomalies create variations that are finite in number and impossible to replicate, leading to demand far outstripping supply, especially when high-quality examples are submitted for grading and certification. And while 1986 P quarters with no errors can still be collectible in high grades, especially MS67 or higher, their real value comes alive when combined with these fascinating errors, and with the growing influence of online marketplaces, coin auctions, and collector forums, more and more people are realizing that a coin once spent without thought may now be a valuable asset, and prices like $103 or more are now being paid for coins with just the right mix of rarity, error, and grade. And this wave of interest has led to increased awareness, more people examining their change, and collectors sharing new discoveries almost weekly. And each discovery fuels even greater demand for specific varieties, error types, and provenance, particularly when supported by high-resolution images, certification documents, and clear identification of the error type. And with this increasing interest comes the potential for the 1986 P quarter to rise even further in value as new generations of collectors emerge, old coin hoards are re-examined, and minting history is revisited through a modern lens that appreciates not just perfection but the beauty of imperfection. So whether you're a seasoned numismatist, a curious hobbyist, or someone who just enjoys the thrill of the hunt, the 1986 P quarter offers a compelling opportunity to engage with a piece of American history, rich in errors and ripe with value. And while $103 may be the going rate today for some error examples, tomorrow could see even greater valuations as awareness spreads, rarities are documented, and minting mistakes continue to captivate the imagination of coin enthusiasts across the globe. And if you've got one of these coins tucked away or you're motivated to start searching your spare change after watching this deep dive, then you've already taken the first step into a fascinating world where tiny details can yield massive rewards. So keep those eyes sharp, those coin rolls turning. And as always, thank you for joining us on this incredible numismatic journey. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a story like this where history and hidden treasure collide in your very own pocket.